It's time for Stephen Rick's POTcast.
Hey, fuckers.
Hey, fuckers, how you doing today? How you doing, Rick?
Just peachy.
Just peachy. I want a big shout out to Rick Parts today. Rick didn't just accompany me, but he drove me all the way to Reston, Virginia today for these stupid fucking neuropathy treatments that I'm getting. I had treatment number 9 today, and not having to make that drive is you have no idea what relief and what pressure that takes off of me. So Rick offered, and I said, yeah, I'll do that. But thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you. And the treatments are stupid. They're not stupid, but I'm waiting for the results. You know, I'm waiting for something to happen because they start me out with these injections in my calves, and then they put these cups and sponges, and they electrocute the shit out of me. And they say there's AM/FM waves going in there at the same time. So I asked them today, I said, so how do the AM/FM waves get into these cups? I don't know. Well, that's not a good answer, is it? Well, you have to ask whatever her name is. Okay, well, I'll ask her that next time. But I'm starting to, I said to him, I'm starting to weigh this out because I'm not feeling any different right at this point. I've had 9 treatments. And the schedule is 24. They said the first 9 are to wake the nerves up. The second 12 are to rejuvenate. So I'm just praying that they're not pulling my dick and that it's right. So I said, I'm weighing my options here because these drives suck. From Hagerstown, although today wasn't bad. Wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't too bad.
But it's an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes out of your day, both ways. And then the treatment's about 45 minutes. So it takes about 4 or 5 hours out of your day. So this better be worth it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you said yesterday that you had to tap out on the treatment because it was getting too intense.
Yeah.
So doesn't that mean that there's something coming back because you were able to handle it the first 6, 7 times?
Well, it either means that or they just had it up way too high. I'm thinking the latter.
Really?
They had it up because I've done 8 treatments before that and nothing like they would get intense, but this was like Mike Tyson punched me in the feet. I could not believe how I Jesus Christ. So they come in and turned it down, but I have high hopes, or I wouldn't be doing this, but I'm really, really hoping. But as of yet, I'm not feeling that much of a difference, if any. So, but you're optimistic. You keep pushing me, so
Yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Just 3 more, man.
3 more before I get my second evaluation. Yeah. That's when they rub little brushes over your feet and whatever. See if you've got any extra or any more feeling than you had from the first evaluation. So, fingers crossed. And if it's working at all, I'm sticking with it. But if 15 go by and I'm still feeling the same, fuck that drive. I ain't doing that anymore. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Absolutely. My pleasure. Anything else going on? Did you do anything fun over the weekend?
Not really. It's been so damn windy. It's not even fun to be outside anymore. So, no, I didn't really. I just watch football. That's all I do with my life. And I'm pissed off because YouTube TV took ESPN and ABC out of their viewers. And it's like, I miss Monday Night Football. That doesn't
you don't have the capability to watch it?
No, not unless it was on YouTube TV. I thought I had another app that would bring it in, but it just did circle, so I didn't get to watch the Monday Night Football game. So I didn't like that very much. So
That's a big deal.
Anybody out there knows how to get ESPN without paying for it, call me.
Oh, you want to be bugged for that?
No,
nothing else.
Actually, my brother-in-law Brian's going to come up and he's going to help me out.
Yeah, there's a side app.
You can always go to a freebie like Fubi or one of them, and you can sign up for a month and not pay for anything until these assholes figure out what they're doing.
Yeah,
because they all go through this dispute about cable and everything. We're dropping this because they don't pay us, and we deserve more. And it goes back and forth, and then they put it back on. That's my hope.
Yeah. Fuckers. Hey, let's get into an email.
Cool.
The title of this email is Cold Chills, and this is from Dustin Esposito. Something tells me we read one of his questions before, but let's get into it. Good day, guys. Keep up the good work. Great forum for the Kicks legacy to live on. My question is, why was the song Cold Chills not included on the Wayne's World soundtrack when it was clearly in the movie? Thanks again for your time and effort, Dustin Esposito. That is a good question.
Probably because we weren't that big of an act at the time. You know, I never felt like we achieved what like a Cinderella or a Extreme or what those bands. We were like under those guys. So I don't know if that would have been an album seller. And it was only in the movie for about 10, 15 seconds. So it probably wasn't that recognizable. That's my opinion. I don't know for sure.
I don't know. I'm not positive, but something's telling me Rhino Bucket. I know they had a song in the movie, but I think they were on the soundtrack.
Is that right?
And they were certainly nothing against Rhino Bucket, a great band, of course, but they were nowhere near as known as Kicks.
I don't know. That's up to the people who put that album together, who they choose to put on there. Maybe they didn't like us.
That's crazy.
Or they had a problem with getting the rights from Atlantic Records. One of that shit could happen. Maybe they wanted too much like YouTube TV.
I got you. All right, well, there you go, man. There's your answer to that one. Here's one from Dion Schultz. Schultz. I wanted to see if Steve could share what the recording experience was like as pertains to the Twisted Sister Love Is for Suckers album. Steve's vocals on the track Hot Love, Think I'll Go Mad seem to stand out as only Steve's unique pipes can. That being said, the list of accredited musicians on those tracks puts Steve in some pretty sweet company that fans probably don't realize. Kip Winger, Reb Beach, Don Dokken, and others. Please share those experiences, and are there any plans to get Dee on the podcast? Just asking because I stays hungry. Thank you guys, Dion from Cove Gap.
I'd love to have Dee on the podcast. I don't think he would do it. He's a busy guy.
Yes.
He's a busy guy, and he, from what I understand, I just listened to the probably 2 weeks ago an Eddie Trunk podcast, and Dee was on there, and he's talking about for the first time in 10 or 11 years that they're gonna come back out.
Oh,
So, and as far as getting involved in the Love Is for Suckers album, Bo Hill was producing, and it was a time when Twisted was like falling apart. So it was pretty much Dee's album.
yeah.
And when they got into doing backing vocals, Bo Hill called Jimmy and I up and said, would you guys want to come up and do some backing vocals on the new Twisted album? We said, absolutely. We met Dee. They had just broken in England. Before they broke in America, they broke in England. And we had like 3 shows in England. So Mark Puma, our manager at that time, hooked up with Dee and said, help me bring these guys on and get them a little bit of recognition in England. So he did. Great guy. And I think we played Hammersmith or something. He may have like hosted like an Eddie Trunk and brought us out. So we had a little bit of a relationship with them. Then we played with them several times. But yeah, being asked to be a part of that recording was very cool. And it was probably the artists that you mentioned, like Kip and Reb and who else did you say? They were all friends of Bo.
Don Dokken.
Don Dokken.
Yeah.
So they probably worked with Bo. So when they were putting that album together, because Dee didn't really have his full band intact, he reached out and got friends to come up and
Oh, okay.
so yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's cool to have friends that can sing.
Yeah, helps a lot.
Right
And he
on.
called me Iron Lung.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that nickname.
Whenever the highest and strongest backing vocal come out, he'd go, send Iron Lung in there and do that.
That had to feel good coming from Dee
Oh
Snider.
yeah, we were beside ourselves, because
Yeah.
Dee was an inspiration, a huge inspiration. I've probably told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I went to the Sandbar at the time, Sandbar in Pasadena, Maryland, and I just heard about these guys because they were from the Jersey area, and I just heard how great Dee Snider was as a frontman. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I've got to see this guy because I consider myself a good frontman. And went down there, and I was being the typical local rock star in the back of the room,
Yeah.
arms crossed, watching, impress me, motherfucker. And he did. I was back there for about 3 or 4 songs, and he started just pointing at people and making them feel like nerds and dumbasses and fuckheads. And after a while, everybody's up front, including me.
Nice.
And I'm going like, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, he knew how to suck a crowd in. He was the best. I learned from him. I learned how to, yeah, I learned from him because that I thought, okay, you got Mick Jagger's moves, but you need to have some other frontman's tactics of drawing the crowd in. Because Mick doesn't draw a crowd in. He doesn't have to. He's Mick Jagger.
Right.
But we had to figure out a way to make a crowd love us when you only had a couple of hit songs.
All right, well, I think that's a good place to stop because we have a special guest today.
Who?
You'll find out when they come up on the screen. So
right.
I'm especially, I've loved every guest we've had.
Yeah,
They've all been
lucky.
amazing.
We had Bo Hill, we had Nuna Betancourt, we had John Allen, we had Ronnie and Brian. Who else have we had? That's about it.
Sullivan Big.
Sullivan Big. Yeah, so we've had some pretty cool guests.
I'm super proud of today's guest.
And Rick's responsible for this. I have nothing.
So let's take a quick break and let's get this guest up on the screen for you.
Sounds good.
Hey, brother.
Fucking way. No fucking way. We were just talking about you. Somebody sent us an email and asked, our Jimmy and I working on Love Is for Suckers, and I went through that whole story and how we were in England for the first time. I think you remember all that stuff? Puma took us over, and you guys were breaking in England, and we were just over there for the first time, and you were good enough to come out and do our introduction, and fucking hell, thank you, Dee. I'm blown away.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I remember England. I remember another time I was recording with my band Desperado. We came down to see a show. I think you were opening for Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
And no need to hang around for Yngwie's set. And we went out for Chinese food.
Right.
All of us went out for Chinese food. And the challenge of the night, for some reason, fish eyes was a item on the menu. Fish eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So we ordered it, and it was just it was eyes of fish, just bulgy eyes, and it was like a rite of passage. Like, were you man enough to eat a damn fish eye? It was the grossest thing.
No, I wasn't.
I don't know if I was either. Somebody was gulping them down though. But yeah, man. Yeah, how you been, brother?
I've been retired, and I'm loving it. I really am. I knew it was time. It was time for me to put it down when I have neuropathy in my feet. So I don't know if you know what that is, but it's fucked up, and I could just hear my voice declining and declining and declining. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be remembered like that. I want to be remembered at the top of my game. So
I have so much respect for that, for making those choices. There's so many. I'm not going to name names.
Oh, I will.
We all know who they are. I've always said name names. My wife says, you got to stop being such an asshole. I mean, and all these people are so pissed because I'm too big to say anything to when they see me. So they just have to bite their tongues. But anyway, yeah, they just like, why? Why
Right.
are you doing? Why leave people with that memory?
I guess because they need the money. You know.
Do they really? Do they really? I'm looking at some of these guys. We know who they are.
Yeah.
Do they really need the money? I mean, I know that, and I know there's some out there that just, why? And I don't want to be that guy either. I mean, and here I am. I've retired with Twisted, and I did like 3 solo albums, and I retired from that. And only thing I've been doing in the past couple of years is like, they call them the encores. Bands hire me. So they do their set, and then they bring me out to do 3 or 4 songs and close the night. So, and I call that easy lifting. I mean, it's not, barely have to warm up, to go do that. But I know that I've lost a note. My voice is powerful as, we can curse, right?
Sure.
We can
Yeah.
curse.
Fuck yeah.
Powerful as fuck. But, I'm missing my top notes, and I hate that.
Me too.
I hate that because I know where they were. You know what I mean? Saying, I remember I came on stage with you guys at one show or whatever, and we were doing your back and forth with the audience.
Cold Blood.
Yeah, Cold Blood. And I sang response. You said, "Damn, Dee Snider could sing high," So, but because people might don't think I could sing high because my voice doesn't sound high. It sounds like deep, even when I'm singing way up there.
They don't realize
But
how high that song is. I've got a picture of you and I. Somebody took a picture of you and I giving each other a high five during that thing you're talking about.
I
And
would love that, man.
that's
I
one
would love to
of
have that. I'll give you my email address afterwards if you don't already have it. Same one I've had forever. Same phone number I've had forever. I don't understand. Our peers, Sebastian Bach, who I adore, but because of mine, I went, dude, I don't. What's your phone number? I had to change it again. I'm like, why? He goes, some fans got it. I said, do you have caller ID? He goes, yeah. I said, why are you answering the phone when it's caller ID? Oh, I don't know this guy, block. And that's it. I've had the same phone number for 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, fan got my phone number. Oh, okay. Well, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't like that fact that I lost a note or two on the top. And damn if I haven't, if I'm not aching. I was always aching back in the day, but it's a different kind of aching, so and I don't like that either. So why am I doing a reunion with Twisted Sister? I will say that it was my idea. The guys couldn't even believe I was making the call, and it had to do with I said this publicly already. Had a little bit of a health scare. It was okay, and it was okay, but it was enough to make me say, "Wow, that was weird." I never had to think about those things before, and I'm 70 years old, and I'm like, do I want to go out like that, like go silently, or do I want to go kicking and screaming? And I picked up the phone and I called up John and Eddie, JJ and Eddie, and said, "What do you think about getting together?" And they couldn't believe I was suggesting it because I told them, not happening,
Right.
never happening. But circumstances, and particularly this was emotional circumstances, made me change my mind. Am I regretting it? A little bit right now. I'm starting to say, I don't know. Do I want to go out there?
How's your voice now? I mean, are you building up more tolerance to get through an hour and a half or 2 hours?
No. Yes. I'm going out there today. And physically, people go, "Damn, dude!" Like go out there with Brett Michaels or with Lita Ford or whoever, and people go, "Holy crap, man! Your voice sounds as strong as ever, and you haven't missed a step." I go, "For 4 songs, yeah, I'm great for 4 songs, but 90 minutes, 75 minutes, 60 minutes, that's a lot." And we did all. Did anybody else in your band sing lead vocals?
No.
No. So it was on us. 18, 15 songs, 18 songs, whatever it was. Every song was on our throat and our voice.
Yep.
There are other bands occasionally where someone else sings a song, and that's great. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to carry. So yeah. So I'm gonna start. I got like a local band. I moved to North Carolina now. Built a family compound. Yeah, I built a family compound, and
Nice.
so I got everybody here. But I'm gonna start like weekly rehearsing the set with a local band just to get my get going. I heard Bruce Dickinson, who's brilliant. He still sounds brilliant. I think he's 65. Anyway, and and he sings different and he performs. Sorry about that, guys. That should not be ringing. Phaser's on stun. So he runs his set literally running on a treadmill. So he runs on a treadmill and sings the entire set while he's jogging for an hour or 90 minutes.
I've done that.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about it, but it seems like you might look like
Don't do the whole set all at once. Do about 5 songs on the treadmill and build your tolerance up.
Yeah, I got to do something because I've definitely been taking it easy.
There's no way that I wouldn't attempt to do a show right now because I know I would not be what the fans expected. So you're very brave to do this.
I know. I'm not brave or stupid. I mean, I loved like up till Twisted's retirement when we did that in 2016. I mean, first of all, I was 175 pounds,
right,
and I was shredded. I had a 29-inch waist. I'm 62 years old, and people are going, "What the actual fuck is going on there?" And you as thin as could be too, brother. And people, and I take my shirt off at every show, and people go, "Damn, look at that guy," you
Yeah.
know. I saw wives hitting their husbands, going, "Why did you look like that?" You know. And but what I really loved is the smiles, man.
Yeah.
Well, I say it was smiles at the speed of sound. When you start singing and you were on and you're still delivering, the audience would just light up.
Right.
And I'd see fathers like going like this to their sons, going, "That's the fucking Snider." I could see them, "The fucking Snider."
Yeah.
Like, you know, they were being transported back to their youth through the performance.
Sure.
And it was the way they remembered, and I looked the way they remembered. And I love that. And I walked away and said, "Okay, I don't want to ever see a look of dissatisfaction." Somebody was reviewing our show and said, when a reunion is good, it makes you feel young again. When it's bad, it makes you realize how old you've gotten.
Yeah.
And I want to be the first part. And in the review, it was like Twisted Sister was, made me feel I was 19. But I never want to be that guy where people go, "Yeah, time's passed," and make people feel old, just looking at me on stage. So, boy, is this a therapy session? I was talking
Kind of.
like therapy. But yeah, so I feel a great weight to make sure I'm in shape and make sure my voice is in shape and start, rehearsing those 3, 4, 5, 10 songs, 50, get there and not let people down. I don't want to do it.
When's it start?
It's like May, I think, currently. May.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, I do have time, but I definitely got to get to it because I'm into a whole new thing now. I started a film studio and partnered with some big Hollywood bigwigs. And I wrote and I'm directing my first movie called My Enemy's Enemy in pre-production's in February and film and principal photography is in March. So, I got that on my plate.
Wow.
To deal with. And but that's really where my focus is. I don't want to be in front of the camera on the stage. I want to be creatively behind the scenes, and whether it's directing or writing, it's less limiting than being 70 years old and looking like this. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like you're like, okay, and this is what you can do. And I'm like, oh shit, I want to do more than that. My brain thinks I'm like the handsomest guy in the world, and and I'm in my 20s. So but if I can write that part on a script and I can direct a young actor to be, that handsome young guy, then I'm still good. I mean, Clint Eastwood's 95 and he's still directing movies, That's inspirational. And so that's where I'm like at right now.
Cool. I was just telling a story. Before I knew you were coming on, somebody sent us an email and was talking about Jimmy and I singing on Love Is for Suckers and all the other people that were involved. And I was going through that whole scenario. And I was telling him the first time I went to see you live. And I'd heard about you because you were, like us on the East Coast and you were killing it. And I just heard how phenomenal you were. And I'm like, okay, I've got to see this guy. I prided myself as being a good frontman. And I'm like, okay, what's all the hubbub about this guy? So I go down, it's a Sandbar in Pasadena, Maryland. Probably not in your memory, but
you being there, and I remember you rocking out. No shame, total respect, and I respected that you weren't standing there with like an attitude in the back.
No, it started like that. I started in the back with.
Of course it did. It would have started like that for me too.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm the back of the room like this, and then you're up there just tearing people's asses up about people standing around with their arms crossed, and you're pointing fingers at people and making fun of them. And before I knew it, 5 songs in, I'm up front going, you fucking.
I remember it's the first time I saw Steve, and so I was like, "That's the guy from Kicks," and I said, "That's a cool guy from Kicks," because it takes a cool guy to be willing to just accept. Whenever I go to shows, I always rock because people are working up on that stage, and you got to respect that, unless they suck, and you don't suck, so there's no problem with that. But that's another story. Then you just leave, sit there and just look like "Oh, you suck," get the hell, just leave the club. If you don't like it, just leave. But anyway, yeah, I remember the Sandbar. I
No
remember you
way.
guys being
That's funny.
cool.
You were a major inspiration to me. I learned how to move and jive around from Mick Jagger. I stole everything from Mick Jagger, and you taught me how to bring a crowd in and keep them in the palm of your hand. You did that.
I'm glad you took the lesson. I mean, honestly, it's not to be a secret. I mean, Eddie Van Halen, apparently, interesting story. Eddie Van Halen, when he developed the hammer-on style, and George Lynch told me that he and Eddie were at the same show where they saw some jazz player do hammer-ons on his guitar playing jazz. And the two of them looked at each other like, wait a second, like, how fast can I get back to my house and start doing that? But Eddie was the first one out of the gate. But I don't know if you know this, but before they released the first album, he faced the back wall doing all guitar solos.
So, yeah.
Because he didn't want anybody to know how he was doing it. And but that's, anyway, that's not the spirit of rock and roll. The spirit of rock and roll is that, yeah, man, watch me and take it and run with it. I mean, if it gives you inspiration, that's awesome, because I'm trying to inspire everybody, and I want everybody to rock. So,
well, you did.
It was very cool of you.
You did.
Thanks. So now I got to go back and do it again. But but it's an interesting thing. The cool thing is, though, so you're still in Maryland?
Yep.
You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. No, I'm happy as hell here. I'm happy with my wife, and kids are gone. They're out living their life, and I'm just loving retirement. I love not having anything that I have to do. I don't have to travel. I don't have to do anything. After 50 years of doing it, I don't know if I'll get the itch like you got to get back into it or not, but for now, I'm totally loving it.
It's just interesting. I don't know if it's an itch, but whatever it is, whatever it is, I'm headed back toward it again. And I'm always busy with something. We built a compound for our family in North Carolina, so we got our 4 kids, our 6 grandkids. Everybody's like living together now,
wow.
Which is like, and we're from New York originally. We all moved out to LA, and then we all got the hell out of Dodge, and we're looking for a better lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in my life, and it's so tough for the kids to get ahead in places like New York and LA. It's just so difficult. So we're really, so it's great to have it's been we'd only moved in March, so it's a new experience, but it's been incredible. But I did, you talk about what we did, brother Steve, what we did. It's not being done by new bands, and a lot of music forms don't really really pursue the art of rocking on stage.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity. I got this side project called Yukon Cornelius. Been going on for 25 years. It's a bunch of jam band guys from Dave Matthews Band, Guster, NERD, Bare Naked Ladies, and then and me. And I asked me to join them, and they play all cover songs, and then they bring me out at the end, the encore, and we do a thing. And these jam band guys with the guitars up around their neck, and I love them dearly. All of a sudden, the guitars drop, the legs spread, they're just rocking like they never rocked, and they're transformed into kids again, and we go out and do this thing. And when they first called me, I said, is your audience gonna like appreciate what I do? I mean, it's not, they're more like, I watched the jam band audience, and they're all like kind of hippies, and he goes, oh, they're gonna love it, and they always love it. We just did a show. What's the one on the water over there? OAR has it, something on the shore. It's in Maryland. The big concert's right on the ocean over there.
Ocean City.
Ocean, yeah, it's Ocean's Calling.
Yeah.
Ocean's Calling. So OAR was playing. It was a jam band fest, and a bunch of the bands, Dave Matthews, Guster, they were all on the bill. So they give me a call, say, hey, we're going to do a Yukon Cornelius reunion during the OAR set. You in? I said, yeah. So come out there, it's like 75,000 people, and I do what I do. If I can still do it for 3-4 songs, and the audience is losing their shit. I've been watching the bands all day, and they're all, whatever that is, and I just go at it. As Sammy Hagar says, there's only one way to rock, and he's right, and that's like down the pipe, And we finished the first song, and the place is losing their minds.
Yeah.
And Ed from Bare Naked Ladies goes, "That's Dee fucking Snider," and he just like goes like this, And but it was what I loved was, we usually play for our people. We're playing for we're singing to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
They're already fans, and they already know who we are,
Right.
and they love us, and they love what we do. But here was a rare instance where I got to go out in front of a huge crowd that was anything but an 80s rock crowd. And they were just jaws on the floor going, "No, what the fuck?" Oh. A few of them were doing this, which I corrected. I'm like, "Oh, whoa, before we do one more song, what the heck? This isn't Margaritaville. Come on, I'm hanging loose. Get them. Ronnie Dio, the devil horns, baby. Come on." So, but yeah, it's a shame. And I wish that we had like a jack in the back of our necks, we could put a hard drive, like one of those things in there, and just download the shit we have learned, the shit we know.
You know what?
About.
There are a couple of new bands that I like. I like the Struts a lot. Are you familiar with them?
No, but I'm not saying there's no bands that are rocking out there. I've been impressed. My kids are all headbangers, and they've taken me to their shows, and some of them, and I'm going, and you know what? They're doing it just for the love of it because there's no fucking money anymore.
Exactly.
They can't make it. So sad. Oh, they can't make a living doing it. So, but on the upside, it's just pure passion. And people like, like Gene Simmons says, rock and roll's dead. My freaking guitar player, JJ, rock and roll's dead. No, it ain't. Get the fuck out of your mansion and go down to a local festival or a local hall, a local show. Check out new bands. You will see passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
True rocking going on. It is out there.
Yeah, it is. There's another band, Dirty Honey, I really like a lot. That's just come out of nowhere, and really good rock and roll bands.
I heard one of their songs, and I was like, I was doing an autograph signing, and it was all 80s stuff. And all of a sudden, this track came on. I can't remember the name of it. And my tour manager I'm looking, go, "Who the fuck is that?" And he's like, "I don't know," because we know every song.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was Dirty Honey, and it was like, damn, they were right there, right in the pocket. And what I'll say is, I do not respect bands that copy.
Right.
Exactly. And bands I'm talking about where they just sound like Led Zeppelin. I mean, that's not doing anything. Take the influences, because we're just a combination of the influences we know, put them together and make and do something with it that's different. We know, I can hear, Deep Purple, I hear some Zeppelin in there, I hear AC/DC in there, but don't just be a copy of the bands that you like. That's bullshit. And so there's a band out of Canada called Monster Truck.
I've heard of them.
These guys again, I hear Uriah Heep, Deep Purple, Grand Funk Railroad, and I go, I recognize that, but they're mixing it up, and they're trying to make it something that's their own. And I love that. There's some good bands out there.
I heard you talk about them on your podcast when you did it.
When I find a great new band, I become a kid again. I'm no shame in my game. Just like when you saw me and you said, "Fuck it, this guy's rocking, I'm rocking with him." And I with Monster Truck, I get the T-shirt. I'm ordering the T-shirt. I'm ordering, Foxy Shazam. I don't know if you've heard of Foxy Shazam.
Yeah.
Dude, this band, they could have been, and they're getting a second breath of life because James Gunn, from who directs the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Superman movie, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. He's a big, not just an 80s metal fan, but he likes new bands that have taken the influences and run with it. And he just fills, the Peacemaker show is filled with bands, old bands and new bands who he's discovered to have the sound. And he found Foxy Shazam, and I found them years ago, and he actually has them. They do the opening title song is one of their songs on this season, and he has in the finale. They actually are in concert, and Peacemaker is a mid 40s guy, and he's a 80s metal fan, so he like just is always listening to 80s rock, you know. So and he goes to the concert. But Foxy Shazam, when I find these bands, I remember Foxy, the lead singer, had a handlebar mustache. Prince Valiant haircut, handlebar mustache. I ordered that fucking mustache on the website. I went down to the concert. I was down with my fucking mustache on. And Eric, and the good thing is, I get to meet these bands that I find, or I get to call them up cold and say, "Hey, is it Dee Snider?" They're like, "What the fuck?" You're like, "Yeah, dude, I love your stuff. You make me feel like I want to rock again."
Good for you.
I'm sure the Struts did that for you. That's what rock and roll should do. Should make you feel like you want to rock.
Yeah, good for you. That's adamant for you to do something like that. And I've never heard of them. I have to download their music.
Oh, dude, Foxy Shazam. I'm telling you, yeah. Don't go to the newest records. Go. The first 4 or 5 records were great. It's tough to be consistent over 7, 8 albums. But look for those, and they could have been. The lead singer is so good, and they're very quirky and edgy, and they could have been like a queen. They really could have been a queen. But there's a lot. It's not just being out there playing. It's not just being good. It's persistence. It's the door opening, the opportunities. And you and I both know so many talented people who never got that chance or got that break.
Yeah.
And we can analyze it. We can say, well, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. But the bottom line is, they wanted it as bad as we wanted. You remember a movie called it was called The Rise and Fall of Western Civilization, The Metal Years. Okay, and there was a scene in there where Penelope Spheris, she was the director, true fan of music, and she filmed all these young guns out of LA, who had not made it, just saying, "I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it," and she cuts between like 25, 30 of them, and I remember watching that movie going, "That's me." They mean it. They are looking at the camera and they are like, "I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it." And they didn't make it. They didn't make it. We were blessed. We were blessed to have those albums hanging on our walls, man. We were blessed to have those shows we performed on. We're blessed to walk away and say, "Yeah, I'm a rock star." You're still a rock star, bro. We'll always be rock stars. It's a dying, but no, we just are. It's not, it's like, if you go to medical school and you get your doctorate and you practice medicine and then you retire, are you no longer a doctor? You're not a working doctor, but you're still a doctor.
Yeah.
And, and I mean, that's the fact of the matter. So,
Right.
We freaking did it. And, and we always got that. You retired proudly. You walk away proudly. I walked away proudly. Why am I walking back? Well, I explained that. But, I've got my. It's tough. I always had a love-hate relationship with performing, though. I don't know about you. The 90 minutes, the hour on stage, that was great. Everything leading up to it, for me, was kind of torture.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'd go through at least an hour warm up where I would stretch and I would do all the, stretching the body, warming up the voice, pacing back and forth, because I didn't want to think about being on stage until I had to be on stage. And then I would go out there fresh, because you can psych yourself out, if you think about it too hard. So I had this hour routine that I was adamant about. So by the time I was done that to the minute, next I'm on stage and I didn't think about any of it.
I was always manic. I always had a love-hate relationship with it because I was always pushing myself to the max. I felt like I had to leave it all on the stage, and like an athlete or a runner or a football player, the next day they're hurting because they left it all on the field. They gave it all. They ran that race, and you see those guys, they cross the finish line and their lungs are exploding because they gave it everything. And that's how I performed. But the downside of that is it was pretty painful and
Yes.
miserable. I was just, I mean, it was like, I remember being on stage sometimes. This is true, and I'd be like thrashing like a lunatic, and I was picked out. I was like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Make it stop, make it, but I can't make it stop. I mean, because I gotta rock. I gotta do it this way, or it's a cheat.
Did you ever see stars? If you shook your head so much, you see stars going around?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Too much head shaking around in there. Oh my God. I mean, yeah. So I mean, and would I do it all again? Yes, I would do it all again. But it was still. It's nice to not have to do it.
Yeah.
And you did it so consistently for so long, and you gave it your all always.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to the beginning of this session. This is, the fear that that I'll disappoint them,
Mhm.
and then I'll disappoint myself.
Mhm.
And people who know me go, dude, and my wife is we've been together for 50 years.
Nice.
I met her in 1976. We're still together, and she's my toughest critic.
That's great.
But she's honest. But she says, "Dee, when you're up there at half speed, you're better than most of the people on that stage." She goes, you just have a force and a power and an energy that comes off of you. And I said, I appreciate that, but in my mind, I feel like I could be doing more.
Sure.
I could be working harder. I could
Me
be,
too.
I could be sweating more than I'm sweating on that stage already.
How many times do you come off stage and go, that show was perfect?
So fucking rare. I mean,
I can think of two.
take 1%. Yeah, you can think of two.
I had two.
Two. It is so rare. If I said 1%, I think that would be a gross exaggeration. I mean, I'm so self-critical
That's what makes you great.
Yeah, but that's what makes us great. Is that the people who are great never think they're great.
Right.
They think it could have been better.
Always.
I remember when Twisted reunited, second go around, full on, old school, hair, makeup, costumes, everything. We did a show in Germany. It was whacking. And it was whacking, and it was 75,000 people, and it was being filmed. It had 25 cameras, and it was a perfect night, a perfect set. Everything was perfect. And I walked off stage and I said, guys, that was perfect. It was captured on 25 cameras for a live DVD. Can we walk away? And they all looked at me and said, no. I said, no, it's not going to get better than that. The best it could be is equal to that. That was perfect.
Now,
I want to walk over to the sunset, maybe explode or something,
Did you watch it and then still think it was perfect? Because most of the time you think you're great and you watch a video of it and go, oh, it wasn't so great, was I?
No, I'm critical of it, but it was definitely good. With the 25 cameras, it was because a lot of times they don't. For some reason, a lot of times they just catch me when I'm standing on the mic. I go, you didn't get me when I was all over the place.
Right.
Oh, we went to the guitar player. I go, yeah, but I was doing this. I was a whirling dervish. And in a friggin' split. What the fuck? Yeah, it was 25 cameras. It was crazy.
Wow,
it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, but at the same time, yeah. And it's tough being that critical on yourself, but that's what makes us good at what we do.
Exactly.
That we try harder.
It means you give a shit. If you go on stage and you're not nervous and you don't give a shit, you don't deserve to be there.
Exactly. You gotta care. I think that especially back in the day when you're on tour, it's different when we were in the clubs. Clubs. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't give. I gave less, but your fans, like our fans, they would come. Some of them would come 3-4 nights a week.
Yep.
They just follow you around the Northeast, and it was amazing. The dedication of those people. But when we started touring as a recording act, you were in town once,
right?
One show, and that was all they're going to get until next year, or maybe if there's another tour came through. But it wasn't like they were going to see you again a week from now. And they could, it had to be great that night. So in many ways, it got tougher for me when it became those one night only kind of things, and they had that was the memory they took home.
Yeah.
Steve, and sister were amazing. I had to have them go home. Or, I didn't mind the love-hate thing. There were people who, hated us. And let's just say it loud and proud. They sucked. I hated fucking asshole. Just really go for it. I want a reaction out of you people. I want you to love it or hate it. Don't give me no middle ground. Don't give me, it was okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst thing. And we could say, what do you think of the show? It was good. I remember was it Madonna in Truth or Dare? And I'm not a Madonna fan, but Kevin Costner watched her show, came backstage, and said, it was pretty good. And I saw her face, and she left the room. She was so angry. Like, that's not what we're working for. We're not working for, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
We're working for, I saw God. Or tell me I fucking hated it. Tell me tell me it was, I don't like that kind of shit, and you irritated the fuck out of me. Tell me that. Okay, good. Give me a response. But yeah, it was pretty good.
That's funny. I saw you guys so many times and never saw a bad show. Never ever saw a bad show. So, and people say that about Kicks too, because we got up and everybody gave it their all, 100% every night, and that's the only way we knew how to do it. And that's what
I was stunned when I saw you guys when I came out and sang with you that night. And I said, "Damn! I mean, you guys look great, sounded great, played great. You were great. You did great. That was a number of years ago now, but it was definitely like it was in the 2000s or whatever it was when I saw you, and I was like, damn. And they're thin and they're lean and it's still. I mean, that's the way. There's only one way to rock, Sammy Hagar. There's only one way to rock.
Hey Dee, we've taken up way too much of your time. We're not gonna bother you anymore. I'm blown away by you doing this. I appreciate it so much. And Rick goes out of his way to make me not know how these things are going to come off. So I'm surprised, and man, was I surprised.
Well, I don't know him from Adam, but I love you. So so that was even though I hate like doing anything that resembles work, but it's not. This is a pleasure. And so I'm going to say, so are you promoting anything, Dee? Are you promoting anything? Ask me if I'm promoting anything.
You promoting anything, Dee?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because the holiday season's upon us, and you may know about my memoirs, Shut Up and Give Me the Mic, wrote it all myself, but I also have a novel, which is soon to be made into a movie, called, I don't know, you can't see it. Where is it? And something in front. Oh, come here. Where are you? Damn, why isn't it showing up on the screen?
That's weird.
It's called, it's reflecting. It's called Frats. Okay. It's about gang violence in the suburbs. And then it just released in a novel form is Strangeland. The movie just came out as a novel. And I have a graphic novel called He's Not Going to Take It. All of it, the reflection's bad. All about my time in Washington. And if you don't want to read, there's always the Dee Snider Funko Pop. You can get one of those for your collection.
I read your first book. In fact, Joe Gerber sent it to me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
It's really.
And I said, I asked about you. How's Dee doing? He just put out a book. I said, oh, I'd love to read it. So he sent me one, and I read the whole
My book's not like the other ones. It's not. It's really about surviving.
Yeah.
and I've been through a lot of shit, and I'm very, very honest about having it all, losing it all, struggling to come back. Because I think people need to share those kind of stories openly, because when you fall, you feel so alone, and you feel embarrassed. And I'm talking about in anything, people. I'm not talking about rock stars. I'm talking about everybody falls. Sometime we fall, and and we feel ashamed, and we feel embarrassed, and we feel like we're the only ones, and because we all keep it to ourselves. We don't want anybody to know that really fucked up. Right. And so in my memoirs, starts out with me, literally flying cars in a parking lot. My wife was doing makeup because we were that broke. She was doing makeup for weddings, and I was I'm going. It was like wedding fairs, and going around the windows. But the security saw me in the parking lot, and I am running as fast as I can to get away from the security. Not because I was afraid to go into wedding hall jail. I was embarrassed that it was early like 1991, and I was embarrassed that they would go, "Hey man, aren't you Dee Snider?
Yeah.
What are you doing flyering cars?"
Been there, dude. I've been there.
Yeah, but I mean, so I mean, but I had kids. I was married,
Gotta do
and riding a bike to a desk job, answering phones in the office, and people were walking in going, "Are you Dee Snider?" And I'm lying. And thankfully, nobody believed it. So I believed that it was me. So I go, "No." I just look like it. They go, "Dude, it's uncanny." I go, "I know, right?" And I'm answering. It was a coffin company. I'm answering my brother's coffin. I'm answering fucking phones in an office.
Wow.
I mean, but that the mighty have fallen. But you either do this, or you do what you got to do to take care of business.
You fought like hell. You fought like hell and came back stronger than ever.
Oh yeah, don't get in my way.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Hey, brother, I love you.
Thank you. I love
Glad
you
to
too.
see you. I'm glad you're happy and healthy, and don't you ever say you're not a rock star anymore. Once a rock star, always a rock star. You
From you,
earn
I'll
the
take
title,
that. I'll take it from you.
earn the crown. Okay, you earn the crown. Whether you're practicing them anymore is another thing. You're not practicing rock star, but I'm not a practicing rock star. But, I certainly did my time.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks so much, Dee.
And if you see any of the boys, tell them I said, "Hey."
I'm sure they're gonna watch it. They're all watching.
Yeah, say a little prayer for me as far as going back out with Twisted Sister.
I definitely will. Definitely.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Good. Take care.